Okay, let's talk about something we all deal with, email. Specifically, email overload. Today, we're not just going to talk about it, we're going to solve it. We're going to build, from the ground up, our very own personal AI assistant, designed to automatically manage and sort our inbox. Let's just dive right in.
I mean, we've all been there, right? You open your inbox and it's just this chaotic mess. You've got meeting invites hiding under newsletters, urgent requests buried by notifications, important stuff gets lost, you miss deadlines, and honestly, the sheer volume is just exhausting. But what if we could totally change that?
So, what you're looking at right here is basically the blueprint for our AI assistant. Now, I know it might look a little complicated at first glance, but it's really just a simple set of instructions. An email comes in, our AI reads it, it decides what kind of email it is, and then it takes action. We're going to build this exact workflow together, step by step.
And the tool that's going to let us build all this is called N8N. The best way to think of it is like a digital workbench. It gives us all the pieces we need, connections to Gmail, to Google Calendar, to powerful AI models, and it lets us just snap them all together to create our own custom automations, just like the one we're building today.
All right, so any good project starts with getting your tools ready. And in the digital world, that means we need to gather our permissions. Before our little assistant can even peek at our email or touch our calendar, we have to give it the proper digital keys to unlock those doors.
I love this analogy because it's spot on. An API key is basically a digital permission slip. It's a long, secure password that proves our assistant has our permission to access our apps. It's a super important first step, and it's all about security.
So how do we get these keys? Well, it's actually a pretty straightforward three-step process, all done inside Google's own dashboard. First, we'll spin up a new project to keep everything organized. Then, we find the specific tools we want to use, Gmail and Calendar for us, and we just flip them on. And finally, we generate the actual keys we need. Simple as that.
Okay, so once you've made your project in Google Cloud, this is kind of your home base. Your very first stop is going to be right here in the APIs and Services section. Think of it as the main control panel for all your app connections.
From that control panel, you just search for the tool you want, like the Google Calendar API here. And look how easy this is. You literally just click that big blue Enable button, and that's it. You've just given your project the green light to talk to your calendar. You do the exact same thing for Gmail.
And the last key we need is for the real star of the show, the brain of our operation, which is Google's Gemini AI. We just hop over to its specific dashboard and, you guessed it, click Create API Key. And with that, all our permissions are in place. Now, let's go build that brain.
All right, now for the really fun part. We've got our keys, so we can start putting together the core intelligence of our assistant. This is where we teach it how to not just read an email, but how to actually understand what it's about.
So the key ingredient here is something called a text classifier. I know, it sounds a little technical, but its job is actually super simple. It reads a piece of text and then decides which category it belongs to, based on a list that we give it. For our project, we're basically asking it, hey, is this a meeting request or is it a leave request? The classifier is going to make that decision for us every single time. And this is a perfect visual for how it works. Over on the left, you've got the input. The classifier grabs the raw text from the email, just a little snippet. And on the right, those are the choices we gave it, meeting request or leave request. The AI's entire job is to look at the left and pick one of the options on the right.
Now this is where the magic really happens. This isn't just a dumb keyword search. Powering this whole decision is Google's Gemini AI model. It's a massive language model that actually understands context and nuance and intent. So it knows that an email saying, "Can you meet at 3?" is a meeting request, even if the words meeting request are nowhere to be found. And that's what makes this whole thing so powerful.
Okay, so we've gathered our keys, and we've built the brain. Now it's time to connect that brain to some arms and legs. This is where the AI's decisions actually trigger real-world, automated actions that make our lives easier.
So, based on the AI's decision, our workflow is going to split and go down one of two different paths. It's simple logic. If the email is a meeting request, we'll tell the system to do one set of things. But if it's a leave request, it's going to do something totally different. This is how we bring the automation to life. Let's break down that first path. An email comes in that looks like a meeting request. Our system automatically slaps a meeting label on it in Gmail, which is great for staying organized. But here's the kicker. It then goes ahead and automatically creates a new event in our Google Calendar. That's right, no more manually copying and pasting details.
And path number 2 works pretty much the same way.
If the AI sees an email is a leave application, bam, it gets a leave label in Gmail. And just like before, it instantly blocks out that time on our Google Calendar. The whole thing is handled for us, without us ever lifting a finger.
You know, as you're setting this all up, the system gives you these nice little checkpoints. So once we plug in those API keys we got earlier, we get this beautiful confirmation screen. Connection successful. This is the system telling us, hey, all the tools are talking to each other just fine. It's a great feeling. And this is the final, most satisfying moment of the whole process. With everything built, everything connected, and everything tested, we just flip this one little switch to activate the workflow. And just like that, our assistant is live. It's now running in the background, 24/7, watching our inbox and ready to go to work.
So we've built this incredibly useful tool to help manage our inbox, which is awesome. But the real lesson here, the bigger picture, isn't just about email. It's about how we can use these tools to take back control of our digital lives.
And this really is the key takeaway. What we've done is build a small, automated machine that works for us around the clock, saving us time, for sure, but maybe more importantly, saving us mental energy. We don't have to waste brainpower on these little repetitive tasks anymore. That is the true power of personal automation.
So we've seen how to connect a powerful AI to our everyday apps to solve a real-world problem. And as you can see, the tools are out there, and the process makes sense once you break it down. So that brings me to my final question for you. Now that you have the basic playbook, what's that one tedious, time-consuming task in your life that you're going to automate next?